Let's go. I'm Christopher Pitt, and welcome to the Pursuit to Own podcast. At Pursuit to Own, we are pursuing ownership at every level of life. Whether it's mindset, business, life, or real estate, our goal is to get you from renting to owning your future. See, I felt the pain of poverty growing up as a sharecropper in zip code 27843. I understand the struggle of living in a one-bedroom shack, owning nothing, not even running water. But I turned that pain into purpose by becoming a premier affordable housing community developer, providing 27,843 ownership opportunities in marginalized communities. Here's the truth. Ownership starts in your mind, regardless of your situation or location. Whether you are escaping the poverty trap, buying a home, or starting a business, the pursuit to own mindset is the key to unlocking your zip code and success. Join me to discuss new innovative ways to own real estate with tokenization, blockchain, crowdfunding, fractional ownership, and so much more. Let's go. Welcome back to the Pursuit to Own podcast, where we want you winning at every level of life. See, today we got a good one. Today we're going to talk about which stage are you in? Once again, we're talking about stages again, because I want to know if you're watching, or you're winning, or you're creating wealth. Because there's very different things that need to happen in those different stages. So we're going to jump right into today, because I get a lot of comments of, they see the content, they have these ambitions. But my first question is, where are you? Where are you? Right? Let's start with watching. That's always step one. We even myself, you have to learn and train yourself and to get ideas, right? You have to see what's working. You have to see what's out in the marketplace. Totally get that. All for that. The problem is when you're just watching, there's no real activity happening other than you observing, right? So if you're only observing, there's no way to generate cash from just watching unless you're getting paid from someone to watch something, right? It's streaming stuff out there. There is an option for that. The next thing is, you got it. Most time when you're watching, we in that free stage. Beginning, I'm just learning, get all the free stuff I can get, and that's great. The problem is we stay in that stage too long. That's right. You will stay in that stage too long because you're always going to feel like you need to know more. And the only reason you feel like you need to know more, right, is because you don't know what's on the other side. And what you're trying to do is minimize as much pain as possible by just watching. That's not really going to work, right? You got to understand something. When you're in that part of it, step one, watching, you have to do that. Observe. I get it. The problem is it teaches us very bad habits. Because when you are just watching and you fall into that free, that free zone, you're getting something for free, it's no accountability on the other side. There's no switching costs, right? If you like it, you can just continue to watch it. If you don't, you just stop. No harm to you, right? Doesn't matter. You just maybe come up with another idea. You realize this is not for you. The problem is you're wasting the greatest asset you have, and that's time. Time. Just watching is teaching us really, really bad habits because you don't know when you're going to jump in, right? Have you ever seen kids play and they used to have the jump ropes and they double dutching? That's what they call it. It's all about timing. When you jump in, when you jump in, when you jump in. See, when you're in that free world and you're just watching, you're just trying to jump in. You're just waiting for your time, right? You don't know what's right. You're trying to catch it. But that's not how the real world works. See, somebody has to jump in that double dutch. Somebody got to jump in there and try it out. They might, the rope hit them as soon as they jump in there, but they're learning then, right? They're like, oh, so you can't watch that. You have to experience that, right? You have to know, okay, get my timing right. Now I jump and do it. Then you see people doing all kinds of things. We're not jumping in because we're just watching. We're just watching. So a lot of people I deal with, a lot of the times, again, I like to make the trends, I like to put life and real estate together to me because I think they have some of the same winning principles. You got to understand the season you're in, right? Right? And if you're struggling, struggling is just for a season until you get serious about succeeding, right? It's just that simple. Like you'll get to a point where you have to understand that if you're doing something new, you're going to have some learning pains, some costly ones sometimes, right? It just depends on it. But when you're just watching, you get none of that. You're just watching. So we got to move from watching to winning. Now, what does winning look like? Now, winning looks like this is when the work starts to happen, right? You got to work to win in life. It's nothing you can do. That's why you see these big time athletes, right? They're gifted athletically, but you know what they do? They put in a lot of work. Anybody know Michael Jordan? Anybody know LeBron James? They put in a lot of work, right? They just don't wake up and do it. Now, when you're competing with the best, you have to work on yourself, right? You have to put in the work. I promise you, it's days that they don't want to do it, but they know if they don't, that leaves the opportunity for someone else to catch up to them. And right. And that's the kind of motivation you got to have. See, when you're working to win, you're going to go through some things. It is times that, you're going to have some things work for you, and you may have weeks that nothing works for you, right? That's part of growth, because what is happening is it's going to put so much pressure in you, around you, that it's going to force you to find a way. Now, why this works is because when you're in this working stage, that means you make some kind of commitment, right? That's the biggest difference from watching to winning. You have committed to the dream. You're committed to the idea. You're committed to the business, whatever that may be. That means you committed. You have something in it. There's an exchange of value that happened, right? For most people, we start off with time. Then eventually we putting their money into the business. And that's when it gets serious, guys. Because once you start putting money into it, everything changes, right? This is no longer just a joke. This is no longer, I thought this is real, and real things happen, right? But you have to be ready for it. The problem with us watching and in that free zone is you don't have any tension. You don't have anything that goes wrong. You don't know what it feels like to wake up one day sick to your stomach because you have payroll that day. You don't know how you're going to do it. You don't know what it feels like to have a project 2-3 weeks behind. You don't know how to buy the materials. You don't know what it feels like to have workers that just don't show up, right? You don't know what it feels like to have the bankers calling you saying, hey, when is this project being done, right? These are just some of the examples of some of the things that I go through, right? Not because because you have to work through people to run a business. Now, there's days, I call them character building days, where it is days that I have to figure some serious things out. And even at this stage in my career, I still have those days when it's like, oh my goodness, Jesus grabbed the wheel, right? But I don't quit. You have to find a way, because that I have trained myself to this point. Like, I understand that there will be tension. I understand there will be challenges ahead. You don't know what they are, but you just know it's going to be there. And you know when that time arrives, it's how you respond. Now, if you don't have no experience in that, right, you have no pain from anything, nothing ever went wrong, you haven't failed at something, had to get back up, you haven't, been around that in your career, it's going to be very difficult for you to get through any type of challenges, right? So we have to really get extremely real at the end of the day. We have to get extremely real, because I get a lot of this when we're talking about wealth. Wealth. I want to get wealth. Well, how can we get to the wealth part if you're just watching? Like, how? How do you do that? Because wealth is when money makes money for you, not when you per se trading time for dollars. Money makes money for you. So the only way you're going to do that, you have to build something. You have to build an infrastructure. You have to build a product. You have to build a service. You have to build a business. You have to build something that creates money. You have to own real estate, right? You have to manage the real estate. There's a business there, right? This is what I'm trying to get to, you guys, right? Because when you have the opportunities in front of you, you you miss them because you don't know what the other side is like. So again, I'm bringing this up for a reason because I think the gap is getting too wide for a lot of things. First time home buyers, just income in general is getting too wide. And with the rise of, AI, automation, the fear is for me is that a lot of people are not going to be able to recover. Like before in the past, when you had a, job loss, things happen, it's just a matter of time. When they have enough money, they bring people back, things of the nature. It's very different now. When people lose jobs now, they bring in AI. They find out a slicker, better system that job is never coming back. It's never coming back. So if you are doing that and you're understanding that the future in 5 years is going to look very different than today, what are you doing? How can you create wealth? Because I'm a fan of working a job until you figure it out because it gives you the ability to do two things when you have a job. Number one, you take care of your basic living expenses, hopefully, right? Hopefully it covers your basic living expenses. But the thing that I think people miss is it gives you an opportunity to build a business without you having to be in it. Now, that is going to take some time. It's a lot of learning. It's a lot of failures in that model. But the goal is to create a business, not another job for yourself, right? If you want to create a business, it needs to be able to run without you. And that's what having a job has allowed me to do in many scenarios, right? Build something because then if it doesn't work, I can reboot, restrap, go do whatever I got to do to fix the problem and keep moving until I get it to a model where it runs by itself. But now that comes with a lot of struggle because you are relying on people and you have to work through people. And that is the greatest thing about running a business. How can you get people to perform for you? So that's a long way from just watching. And the thing that really gets me is that we are not thinking about so here's the other part about this. Everybody's looking for some sort of investment. Hey man, I got a great idea. Hey, I did this for, I know I can make this work, I have a great skill. The thing is, no one wants to invest in you if you haven't invested in yourself already. Like that seems like a very, very simple thing, but if you want to get an investment from anyone else, you must invest in yourself. And you must invest in yourself that is like really visible, right? Not like, oh yeah, I spent, you know, $1,000 on it, but you have no track record of it. Like they want to know you put in time. Did you go out there and just test the market? For me, I go out, man, I have been performing workshops for free for like 10 years. I am teaching people how to get the first home, their first rental property, right? But again, it's in that free bucket. But I'm doing my part, right? Because I understand there's a need for it. I'm delivering the service, and it's up to them to execute on it. And that's the problem, right? Getting people to execute on it. They receive the information for free. Now, can they execute on that? And that's what we got to get to. But the main point is if you are asking anyone for $1, you need to make sure you're investing in yourself and they know that you're investing in yourself. Because if you're not willing to bet on yourself, why are you asking other people to bet on you? Like that's the part that throws me every time I talk to people. They want to do a job or do a company, but at the end of the day, they don't want no risk involved. How is that possible? It's risk every day. When you just drive to the store, there's risk every day that something can happen, right? You cannot take the beta of risk out if you have a business. Again, I'm bringing this to a point because I'm watching so many people just fall into this trap of not moving forward with their life. Now, I try to get them to win when I watch them. And the problem is they don't want the other side of success. Success comes with scars. Like I tell everybody, it's okay. Success comes with scars, but you got to find out what works because regardless how you look at it, everything started out as a dream. Everything started out as concept, right? If you're working today, that was somebody else's dream that they're paying you for to keep building. When you go to a store and buy something, that it was somebody else's dream that you are going in to spend money to keep it going, right? It's everything you see and use is a dream at some point. So why are you willing to support everybody else's dreams except yours? Think about that. Think about it. You're willing to support everyone else's dreams except yours. Now, most of these stories doesn't just start off with, oh, I did one thing and we went to the moon and we were just this billion-dollar company. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And I keep bringing this up because we're running out of time. I'm talking to my first generation people. I'm talking about hardworking middle class. We are running out of time. You can no longer sit and wait to, to go buy your first one. You can no longer sit and wait to create more money because by the time you sit and just watch and trying to figure it out, we're in a new economy. We're in a new economy. That's what I need you to understand. You have to be efficient in the economy that you're in, right? We have to adapt to what's happening. And that's my greatest fear for most people. They don't believe that they're going to be impacted by all the things that's in the future. AI, automation, you see it. We're starting to use it. You have been to a store, right? It's wild sometimes when when you're used to seeing people at the register, right? What happens now? Checkout, self-checkout. That was the first thing. Now you walk in there and it's like 3 people in there. Big store, 3 or 4 people in it. There used to be jobs. I can get on my phone and go, AI, look up blah, 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 blah. It spits out whatever I'm asking for in a matter of seconds. That used to be a job. Somebody was paid an hourly wage for, to do that. Now it's gone. Unless you figure out how to use it. So to put a bow on why this is such, it means a lot. And I'm trying to hit home to those people. I need you to get from watching to winning. Get to the second stage. Put in the work. Believe in what you're trying to do. Be willing to take the failures, right? Sometimes you got to take the whipping to get to winning. You hear me? You have to take the whipping to get to winning because you're not going to know what that feels like until you actually do it. You need to feel it. You need to feel it because now that will tell you what you should and should not do. And you have to figure out a better way or a better path for you or your customer. Can't watch away and do that, guys. Only you can put yourself in the game and do it. Again, you got to figure out a way to make yourself valuable in the new economy. I'm just give you an example of real estate. Now, this is for me, again, you know my story. Someone that never had a home growing up, just temporary housing for a long period of time. I embarked on building a real estate company, right? We talk bricks and sticks, as we say, right? Bricks and sticks. And it's always been a hassle about trying to, find ways to increase capital, things of that nature. And that's a big barrier, access to capital, right? But to now, 2025, now I have a company, Pursuit Dome Partners, we're building that we're tokenizing the company to raise money, right? Do you like that is like going from the horse to the Ford Mustang, right? Horse, Ford Mustang. That's what's happening in real time. This is happening around you today. You have to get together and figure out what is your strategic plan today. It cannot be hope, right? You need a plan because when these things start to move, is technology will always outpace anything, right? Because once it starts, it's exponential, right? It's going to keep evolving. It doesn't stop. Yeah, this stuff works 24/7. It doesn't stop. Every day is learning. Every day is learning. Every day is learning. So now you're not only competing with the person next to you, you're competing with something that has an unlimited source of just searchability, knowledge base. Learning from you can learn from anything on this planet Earth from the day it was, formed, and it can do it in seconds. So the window for you to start is now. The next 3 or 4 years are going to be the most impactful years in your life. Either you're going to take the step, you're going to jump in that double dutch, you're going to get hit a couple times, but you got to do it now. And that's why I have this show. That's why I have this podcast, because again, I care more about the people than the properties I have. But again, these are principles to having life. To having life. See, again, that's why purpose becomes such a big thing, because machines, hopefully, and the AI, hopefully, they don't really come up with a purpose. They don't really have a struggle. They don't really have a story, right? They were created. That's going to be the difference for us. What's your story? What's your struggle? Because in a machine, it's no excuses with machines. Somebody's hurt. Nobody's playing sick. These things, they just run all day, every day. And they get smarter. They get more efficient every day. That's what you're competing against. So that's what I'm trying to get you from watching to winning, because we got to go now. We have to go now. You have to go now. You have to go now. You are not afforded this opportunity to continue to wait and watch. Now, if you're getting into real estate and you are a person that believe in purpose, then come to Pursuit Dome. Reach out to us, because we don't just sell real estate. We serve real estate with a purpose, right? That's huge for me. Purpose is going to be so huge because that's something AI would never have, right? Got to have a purpose in your life, because that is the thing that gets you up when everything else is knocking you down, right? And once you can dial into that, that is the only thing that can't be replaceable, right? If your purpose came out of pain, which majority of the time it happens that way, if your purpose was birthed from pain, only you can do that job. Only you can translate that pain, right? Because you went through it. And guess what? You're not the only one. So someone else is going to be that person on the other side that hears you and understands you. And that's the new economy, right? Because it can't just be workflows anymore. It can't be I'm so skilled at this anymore. Like, we're going to go from skills to stories real fast, really fast, right? Because AI can replace a skill. It cannot replace your story. AI can replace your skills, but it cannot replace your story. So now's the time to really dig into your story, dig into the things that you have trapped in your basement, dig into all the pains, understand what people can I lead during this time? Who's my tribe? What is the thing that I overcame that I know so many other people are suffering? What is the thing that I'm ashamed of, but I still got through it, that I can help people with? Brene Brown it, man. Like, shame stops a lot and people for doing many things. Shame for me is when I'm having projects that no matter what I do, I can't get them to hit the mark because I'm giving opportunities to other people. That is a pain for me, right? Now I got to decide, is the pain to provide opportunities to people in that community worth the struggle? Now, if I didn't have purpose, that it would not be worth it, right? Because now we just talk about a financial transaction, right? But I'm okay with just taking some of the losses, giving other smaller, say minority companies opportunity because I'm trying to build an ecosystem. Because if I know if I can get them to the end, then they have the ability to repeat it. And once they have the ability to repeat it the right way, that gives them the ability to create revenue. That gives them the ability to, have a business. That gives them the ability to create wealth for their family. And that is not money. That is purpose driven. I am purpose driven. I take a lot of losses to help people like you. That's purpose. And purpose can't be explained. Purpose is not can't be on a business plan. You can type it out. Purpose is action. Purpose is what can you show that you overcame and why? Because this is something that you're going to do regardless. This is the thing you dream about doing every day and you would do it for free. But the thing about that thing, back to the free thing, once you fall into that purpose, you're so in tune with what you're doing, you'll do it for free because you do it every day already. The only thing you're missing is the person behind you because that person is trying to get to where you are today. One step behind you. You're one person behind, one version of yourself behind to success. We don't have to recreate the wheel. I did that myself. Everything has to be $1 billion company concept, but sometimes the DNA is really simple, right? You got to niche down on something you truly believe in that there's demand. You believe in it, there's demand. Only thing you have to do is find a solution. And then once you find that solution, you got to get it to as many people that fall within that bracket. And then you have a business, right? Success can be simple. I think someone said painfully simple. I think what I read, because it's true. Like it's the steps are simple. Find the struggle, provide the solution, you will have success. Find a struggle, provide a solution, you will have success. Right? That's simple. But it's hard at the same time because that means you have to be vulnerable. That means you have to identify with that struggle. That means that you have to be a thought leader for people to believe in you. Who are you to provide the solution? Right? That's the difference between having a couple transactions than having something grow into something that's a wealth created forever. Your story, your struggle, right? I don't run from that. And I did for a long period of time, but that has been the biggest transition I ever had. For me, it's transformation. When I realized like, hey, end of degrees, to see my degrees on the wall, right? MBA, I would have never thought I'd get an MBA from Florida State, right? But I did because I thought that's what I need. And I did need it, right? It gave me confidence more than anything, right? But I didn't know the thing that's going to take me over the top is really my struggle and the story that I have because I'm providing a solution for those people behind me. I didn't know it was that simple, right? But here's the thing, because I went through all those things, because I know that person so well, that puts me in front. It doesn't feel like work for me, right? What it does is it does create a real burden for me because I watch people that watch things and I try to get them to commit because I know if I can get you to commit a little bit, whatever it is you're going through, it's going to get better because now you're actively doing something. You're working towards that solution. If you're not working towards a solution, you just stand in the struggle. And if you accept staying in the struggle, by all means, Stay right there. But I'm trying to lead you out. The only way you can be led out from pain is you have to be in pursuit, because it is some things you're going to go through that you need to dial into to get you to the other side. Turn your pain into the blueprint of your success, right? That is literally what it's about. So as we end things up, it was just deeply on my mind, as I, watching the economy, watching the job loss, watching price of food go up, watching so many people fall into very serious times, and they don't have any type of backup. See, today, one income doesn't cut it. One income stream doesn't cut it, guys. One is too close to zero. I heard that a couple times, and it's a fact. So people that thought they had this great, great job, a government job. Let's talk about that. A government job. That's supposed to be one of the most secure jobs out there. They never expected they would ever be let go like this. And I ain't talking about one or two. We talk about 60, 70,000, 100,000 people just waking up today shocked and have no idea what they're going to do next. I don't want that to be you. And the only way that we can control that is be in pursuit to create revenue for yourself. Be in pursuit of your dreams so you can't fire yourself. Be in pursuit of a business you can run that doesn't require you every day, right? You have to get to a point where you are starting a business right now and understanding how to build that business to acquire wealth for yourself, because you can't get wealthy for most people working for someone unless you make it to the big time C-suite. And for some people, that's an opportunity. But for most, just working, hoping on 401k, that's not wealth. It's not wealth. 401ks are great, especially when you get matched. Anytime you get money making for money. But we have to get serious. It's no more safety net. The only safety net you have is creating revenue for yourself and finding your purpose. So as we close things out, just understand, are you watching? Are you winning? Are you creating wealth? You need to figure out which one of those phases are you in, and you need to get to the next one immediately. You need to get to the next one immediately, because to be successful, you need to find the struggle that you can provide a solution for, and you can have success. That's what we got to do. We got to get to the point where we're in control, and being in control means you're owner. So we want you owning at every level of life. So in the meantime, to the next time, stay in pursuit. Let's go. Thank you for listening to the Pursuit to Own podcast. If today's episode inspired you, don't stop here. Take the next step toward owning your future. Visit pursuitToOwn.com to sign up and join our growing community of wealth builders. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Pursuit to Own for updates, tips, and success stories. Together, we're turning dreams into assets. Until next time, stay in pursuit.